Hey, what's up, everybody? Mogion Monster here, and welcome to Why the Fascination, or WTF as I like to call it. Hope everybody's having a good week. Weekend's almost here. Right on. So you got a bunch of people in chat. It's awesome. That's awesome. What we got here tonight? Rex Hand, how's it going? Hey, Mr. Lee, what's happening? Hey, Judy. Joe, the Squatching Cowboy. How's it going, man? Hope you're feeling better. Sandra Piper. Nice to see you. Hey, Emma. How are you? What else we got in here? Ida, welcome. Yeah, not too much going on. Nothing new, Same old, same old. Just watched Mark's show over at Sawdust Beast. Great guest, woman Cindy. That was. I enjoyed that. Actually, I lurked for like most of the show. I had so much going on. I was just like, I was listening and doing other things, and but I enjoyed it. That was a good show. Hope you guys checked it out. What's up, Lester? Who else we got here? If I was on the YouTube, the YouTube screen, I could split screen it, but then this way I could pull up the list of everybody in chat, and I don't have to scroll back like I do all the time. Because I always feel like I forget somebody, Somebody said something recently in the last show, and I'm not even going to bring it up, but yes, I'm going to say hi to everybody. It's funny. So yeah, I'm going to be putting the link in chat as normal, so you guys can click on and come hang out. Love to get some new people in here, people that had never been here. I know some of you, just not up for it. I get it. But yeah, it's not as bad as you think. It's worse. No. Yeah, let me do that. Get the link in chat. There we go. Hey, Last of the Wilds. What's up, Charlie? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Hope everything's working out for you. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, Stacy Perez. How are you? Where's Stevie? I just saw somebody say Stevie's name. Stevie B. Hey, guys, why we're here? Prayers, please go out to Stevie and her family. Stevie just lost her mother. My heart goes out to you. Sorry. Yeah, so we love you, Stevie. Don't be mad at me for putting it out there. Because I can run faster than you. Oh, shit. I love you. Sorry, guys. So, what are we talking about tonight? Because I don't have anything planned, because I never have anything planned. Woo! Sorry, guys. I'm at a loss for words. Scotty, what's up, man? Hey, Breeze. Good to see you. Welcome. I'm just going to keep dumping that link in chat So until someone else picks it up and copies it or does whatever, a moderator. And thank you guys for doing the moderating. You guys are awesome. Normally I'll do this at the end of the show, but sorry. But someone said I should do it in the beginning of the show, and I'll do it at the end. But hey, if you guys, I can't say you'll see. This is where it only works in the end of the show. Hit that like button and subscribe or whatever. If you're new, subscribe, share it. But show just started. You can't really share it. Taffy, what's up? Blue Eyed Northern. Hey, how are you, Blue? TFE, good to see you, man. It's been a while. I know you're in and out sporadically. It's good to see you. Who else? So I was considering. I know somebody brought it up. I think it was last show, or I did. But I think I'm going to go check out that. I want to try to check out that camp out that Bigfoot Stacy is having in MUSICA, because I always, for some reason, I always wanted to check out MUSICA, and I really don't know that much about it. I've only seen that one picture, but maybe it's something in the name. But I'm kind of attracted to that, so I want to check it out. I believe that's the 12th or somewhere around there. I screwed it up. I said the 20th, 21st, but it's not. It's like the 12th through the 14th of November. Just, I'm just, it's local. So I just feel like I really need to get out there and explore. I have such a curiosity for this. I'm not a researcher, I'm a searcher. But not diehard, it's just, I don't know, just so like enthralled with this. And you guys know, you get sucked right in. But it's, I can actually say Bigfoot changed my life. That's weird, but I don't think I'd say it out loud in public. Like, well, I just did. Crap. Hey, Leslie. Good to see you. Hope everything is going well with you. Scotty. John Hall. How's it going? Osquatch. Welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. It's funny. You see these, I've been seeing these same names for years. It's just amazing. And it's been years. Where the hell did that time go? It's amazing. Leslie, I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. Doing great. Yeah, just changes taking place and just doors opening and doors closing. But everything's going good. The future's very bright. And I don't mean to just sit here and I said it the other night too, about feeling blessed, and I truly do feel blessed, and so I'm done talking about it. Jimmy Crack Horn, what's happening? Jimmy Crack Horn says, I watched 3 times in a row. Where's your sidekick? Iron Dogger is my Tuesday night co-host. And I'd love her to be here tonight, but we, I didn't want to tie her up like that, Well, Let me rephrase that. Obligate her. No, Tuesdays, one night a week is great. If she ever wanted to come on, other nights, on Thursdays, no problem. Um, but yeah, she'll more than likely pop up in chat. I saw her over in Sawdust Beast chat. She might prove me wrong now. Hey, Brandy. Good to see you. So, with what do we got? We got 55. This is where I get nervous. You only live once. And, we've been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And I'm just, tonight I'm going to throw caution to the wind and say, fuck it. And at some point tonight, I am going to sing for you guys. Don't get upset about the song. Just it's just a song I like to sing. I think it's a Gordon Lightfoot song. I'm not doing it yet. But I'm going to try to get some music on through my phone because I'm not doing it a cappella. I don't know how the music's going to come through, but I'm sure it'll be all right. And I'm just going to do a song because I don't give a shit anymore. What are they going to do? I'll put the proper, whatever I have to do as far as, the credits in the description. I'll go over and just look up that song and copy it and put it in, and hopefully that's enough. If not, oh well. Leslie, who have you been talking to? Shit, secret's out. That's funny. Known back home, what's happening? I was over at Bat House Park, dude. Yesterday, last night, did some fishing right by the bridge. So known back home in chat, I believe he's just east of here. I think Pine Island, or I could be wrong. Who else? I'm lost. How the hell is chat moving so fast? Harold Denton, what's happening? So I see a few different names. That's good. I'm glad when new people join us and get an idea of what we're about. We just hang out and have a good time and kick it and whatever. Jeff, what's going on, man? How's it going? Richie Evans, hope you're feeling better. Oh yeah, well, I guess it says good. I am feeling so much better now. I saw the name. I didn't see the comment. Wow. Timing's everything. Mo is the Larry. No, Mark Larry. Oh, no, Mo. I was thinking Three Stooges. I'm like, wait, I'm Mo. Too funny. Who is? I just saw Matt. Oh, I see people saying, "Hey, Kelly, how are you?" So yeah, what are we doing? Links in chat again. Lee or anybody, any other mods, if you want to keep, just posting that, just spam the chat. I don't care. It's my fucking chat. this way, anybody that wants to come on tonight, come on and hang out, because you've been listening to me for 15 minutes babble. And yeah, eventually I will get the balls to sing. I said I'll do it. Now I have to do it. So I won't be backing out, guys. Stick around. Shit. I've seen that shirt, dude. I've got a shirt that says, just say Mo, or Mo. Hey, Mo. Hey, Jen. Wit, what's up, man? So yeah, hey, Matt. That's Matt. I was like, who the hell's, until I saw who it was. Like I said, anybody wants to come on, click on that link. It's pretty simple. Just follow the directions. And then when you're, before you come on, just make sure YouTube is off in the background so you don't get an echo. And we'll talk about anything you want. Anybody, shit, just throw out shit in chat, guys. I mean, not literally, but be messy. Florida Lone Wolf, how's it going, man? Tiger Island. Never heard of it. It's up in the woods, though. Leslie's like, no, don't shit in chat. That's awesome. Did I see Bigfoot Anon in here? I just saw someone say, there he is. What's up, dude? Brownies? Bat Mom, how are you? I say something stupid and I guess run with it. Rosemary Andrews, good evening. Welcome. Yeah, guys, don't leave me hanging. Someone jump on here. This is silly. Shouldn't take this long. Because then in 30 minutes, there'll be 4 people on and then 5, and it's a party. Might as well get in early. Let me put this in chat one more time. It used to be I didn't want people feel like guilted into coming on the show. Now I don't care. Yeah, Joe, jump on, buddy. Heidi wants to see you. And Joe's always pleasant to have on. He's a good guy. I really enjoyed hanging out with him. It was a good experience. There she is. I knew she was going to do this.
No,
What?
you didn't.
Evie.
Hi. Hello.
How are you, hon?
I figured I couldn't leave you hanging. Can you hear me okay? I'm outside.
Perfect.
Okay. Good. Doing okay?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm all right.
Yeah.
I had alternative motives here. I'm pretty sure my sister's watching for the first time, actually.
Kathy?
Cassie. I'll be there in a couple days,
I wish it was under better circumstances.
I know. But it's been years. It's been a few years since I've seen my family. So
yeah,
I need to.
Yeah.
I need to. But,
well, no, it'll be good to see your family.
Yeah.
But hopefully Kathy's watching. That would be cool.
Yeah. She'll message me in a second.
She's like, holy shit.
Yeah. She kept asking me, send me the link. I'm like, Google it.
To the channel?
Yeah. I know she's watching. She's real shy.
Last of the Wilds just said if this is a good one. If Mogs is singing tonight, it's a perfect time for Mr. Lee to appear.
Yes, absolutely. Front row seats.
Suck it up, Mr. Lee. Hey, Pearl.
Hey.
Good evening, Stevie. Good evening, Moggs. Can I discuss the doves, Stevie?
Sure.
Can I?
Yeah.
You know, last Wednesday or Thursday, I had 5 turtle doves in my front yard. Well, not my front yard, just outside the porch, Moggs. And I was having my morning coffee, and I was just sitting down with my cup of coffee in my chair. And when I noticed a dove, and it was roosting in the wet grass, okay? And that was very odd. The sun is shining, the grass, the dew is on the grass. And normally turtle doves roost in underbrush. And it was asleep, and I sat there looking at it a little while. And, I can't take film through my glass door of a dove. That's just going to glare. Okay. And I couldn't get and, of course, eventually I snuck, to try to get out the door and open it quietly and get, a pic of a turtle dove roosting in the yard in broad daylight and wet grass. And I really, that was perplexing. It's odd.
Well,
And so,
to leave itself that exposed. Yeah.
right. And so when I opened the door, of course it flew off, but there was actually 5 that
Oh,
flew
wow.
off. And I don't know the meaning of it yet. I know it's a sign. And today I took a picture of a rainbow. I sent it to a few people. So Stevie was one of those recipients of that picture today.
Right
And
on.
it was to give hope and love and joy. And I never know sometimes why I do what I do, Moggs. I get compelled.
Sure.
Yes, I get compelled. But I just felt the need to pop on and just, if I knew which way to reach Stevie, I'd reach over and I'd hug you big time like
Opposite the way you
right
think.
Right.
Just absolutely love to, baby girl. I would. I really would.
I appreciate that. Well, I got to tell my story of the dove. When I was in the hospital, it was the first time that I was out of the hospital bed after my surgery, after my amputation. I was so excited to get out of the bed and out of the room. I hopped in a wheelchair and I was all over the floor. And I mean, I was out there for like 45 minutes, just rolling around. I basically took a right turn and kept going past my room. My nurses were saying, okay, it's not, don't overdo it. I said, well, I just want to see what's around the corner, because I knew from my view from the room out the window, I could see another hallway. And it just, I was curious of where that hallway led. So wheeled around the corner and I sat there, and my physical therapist was standing like to the right over my right shoulder. And I looked at my window ledge, and right there, smack in the middle of my window ledge, was a dove, one single dove. I've never really seen a dove in the wild before, never. And I looked at him and I was like, is that and he was blown away too. He said, that's gotta have a meaning. It's gotta have a meaning. And then I realized a little bit later, after 7 Pearls and I got to talking, that's something that's significant to her. So it was pretty special. I've never seen it couldn't have been no more perfect than the center of my window ledge, all by itself, just there. It's cool.
Awesome.
Very cool.
That's a sign. Absolutely. That's awesome. And it's awesome that you recognize it,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've you see doves and magic tricks and all that stuff. I can't say I've seen one actually in the wild.
Pure white.
Yeah,
dove.
I mean, gorgeous. I wish I had my phone with me. I would have taken a picture of it. It sat there for so long. And it was more or less when I was ready to go back, I was tuckered out, basically, ready to go back to my room. That's when it just flew away. Yeah, it was cool. Definitely a moment.
I just told somebody recently how I pay attention to signs,
Oh yeah.
everything, numbers, um, just little serendipitous things that just, make me, it just catches my eye, and I acknowledge that stuff. And I think it's important.
Yeah.
And
Just,
Moggs, I'd like to apologize to you. Sometimes you rub me the wrong way. We take each other the wrong way, but I don't love you any less. Okay?
uh,
Our
Oh my God.
personalities can conflict online. I was a moderator for 10, 15 years. I get burnout. I get ornery. I cut up. Oh, but what I really admire about this forum is that it's an open forum. Thank you, Moggs. For just putting up with regular people being themselves and us
we're all
cutting up.
regular people being ourselves. I'm nobody.
Yeah.
I'm just, some
We're
dumbass who
all
thought he could do a show.
but what you do, Moggs, is me. I'm not a Bigfoot researcher. I research a lot of topics. I like to read and I love people. And what you do for someone like me that's down in a lot of chat rooms is, that you give us the opportunity to click that link. If you've got something to add, you've got something to say, pop on. And now that's how generous and open forum it is, folks. Well, within good reason, unless you're a nut like me and you got a blink and bling mask.
Oh, come on. Hold on. I got it. I
And you
got to
cackle
acknowledge
like a
this.
witch.
Steve, hold on. Just hold that thought. Stevie, you know what I just put up, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw that.
Where did it go? Because I'm putting it back up. And Sean G, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. If you guys haven't checked out Sean G on Chasing the Truth, do it.
Yeah.
Good show.
Awesome. Yeah. And a voice that you just get mesmerized by. Yeah, he really has a great radio voice, Mom.
So Judy says, yes, that's me, especially with numbers 1111, 1111 and 222.
What's my number?
222.
What's yours?
1111. I see it all the time.
All the time. My whole life.
But no, now it's out of control.
If y'all research that, you would find out that there's documentation on what a phenomena it is between like-minded people. Because I've been seeing 1111 on a clock, and I used to count as a kid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was learning to count, and I'd say 11, 11, 11, 11, 12.
That's cute. Well, the funny thing too is my sister number is ones. She sees triple ones, 1111.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
But I've been paying attention to numbers forever, and lately, it's the universe is just screaming at me with signs.
So we're going through some trying times, and we're gonna see signs in the heavens and on the earth. It's just, whether it's not a religious thing, it's just happening. People are noticing.
I have this thing where I find times in the most weird places. They pop up, and when I can swear that there was not a dime there a second ago. A while back I was at
I've
work.
heard that before.
Rainy day. It was a rainy day, pouring down rain, and I'm working in the park, and there's not a soul, not another in miles. Sitting on my front porch of my office under the awning, drinking a cup of coffee, and I forgot my cigarettes back at the shed. I ran back, got my cigarettes, came back, and there was a dime sitting right in front of my coffee cup, right there. I mean, dimes everywhere I go. I found one the other day, just 2 days ago. As a matter of fact, yesterday morning, I found one right before I found out my mom passed. So there's got to be a meaning before, by it, but who knows?
Pennies.
I had a friend in Arizona who would, when his father died, I think before he died, he said he was going to leave him dimes. And sure as shit, they would show up in the middle of nowhere. You know, like
Wow.
I mean,
it wasn't there.
doorway
And
thresholds where I just crossed over and turn around and forget something, and boom, there's a diamond. I know it wasn't there. Shiny, brand new, looked like it never been touched. Just right there. It's pretty wild.
yeah, I'm like, well, shit, I can't like do that with dollar bills with me or something. Damn, you know, turn around.
That can't be $100 bill.
Let it
Around
rain
my,
from the
I gotta
sky,
keep
please.
pulling them out of my G-string. There's a thought. Terrible vision, though.
I'm outside. Let me know if it's too noisy. I can't.
No.
Can't
Can't even hear it.
I'm
A
sorry.
minute ago, I had a neighbor walk up on me wanting to strike a conversation. That's why I was like, no.
Little busy.
Yeah.
I'm just putting the link in chat again.
Now, Moggs, when you go to singing your song, you know, my son may hear you singing and come sing with you.
You just reminded me, and I just had a panic attack.
Oh, no. It's all right. Can I sing background?
I said, I'm staying for front row, you know.
Oh, I don't know when. I might do it from. I don't know when we're going to do this, but
Well, my son has a real deep voice. He can really carry a tune. He's liable to sing background for you, man.
maybe. What
We'll make you feel comfortable, Moggs. You only live once.
There we go. Known back home. What's up, man?
What are you up to, Bubba?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
Oh, Stevie just
Stevie.
yeah, man.
Okay. This is the first for me, so
Oh, welcome, man.
computer
So
challenge here.
Are you in Pine Island?
Yeah, I live less than 2 minutes from where you go fishing at the
Right on.
Matlacha Bridge. I just
Right
don't know
on.
how to get a hold of you on your emails, so
Yeah,
I posted it. Just send me an email. I know how to email back.
I didn't see it. Yeah, my it's Monster Mogion. It's just Mogion Monster backwards at gmail.com. So it's pretty simple.
I'll try and figure that out tomorrow.
Um,
I want to go on that Florida thing.
Oh, in November?
Whenever y'all go, yeah.
Yeah, I have a. Where the hell did I see it? I think somebody emailed me the kind of the itinerary, and it's I think the 12th through the 14th. It's in MUSICA. It's at this.
Really? Yeah, I heard about that the other day. Plus, if you want to go fishing, I have access down to the piers down there at the end of Bokeelia.
Oh, right on. Right on. Yeah, that's a pretty cool pier. I haven't fished off of that yet.
Well, now I get access to the private piers.
Oh, very good. That's even better.
You saw both of our eyes light up when you said that.
That's a pretty area down there. It's the north end for you guys who don't know. Just I'm in Cape Coral, and then there's Pine Island is just off the coast, and Bokeelia is like the northern tip of Pine Island.
Beautiful.
It is just gorgeous up there.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to bid you guys adieu, and I miss you, Stevie. I know you have to pop out sometimes, but you just remember we have you in our thoughts and prayers, lady. Okay?
Yeah, we do.
And very nice to meet you now, and I'll let you two guys chat away. Good night.
Take care, Pearl. Thank you very much. Bigfoot Anon just posted. It's at the Crowley Museum, and that's at I guess is the MUSICA State Park. Is that where it is? Bigfoot Anon or Connor?
I'd have to look it up.
No,
Now, you just let me know next time you come out this way so we can meet up.
Yeah, man. Well, like I said,
toss information back and forth.
It's funny. Everybody's in chat and they're like, "You should sing this song and this song and this song."
What are you
It's
going to sing?
it's a Gordon Lightfoot song. It's "If You Could Read My Mind." It's just a pretty song. It's a messed up message. It's Gordon Lightfoot's, like "fuck you" to marriage. But it's a cool song. I just like singing the song.
Well, how are you enjoying Florida from Arizona?
Well, I grew up on the Jersey Shore, so it was just the water's in my blood. So.
Well, where's all your negativity?
From Jersey?
Yeah, most Jersey people are real negative.
I left it in Jersey.
That's good.
Yeah, just the big difference is the humidity. It's so dry in Arizona, and then you come here and it's like pea soup.
Well, it's kind of nice this time of year, but
it's starting to change. I'm starting to notice, because I haven't been here for winter yet, but yeah, I noticed the nights are getting nice and cool out, and it's still, I think,
you're below the frost line, so you're not really going to get a winter. You won't even have frost on your windows.
Oh, that's fine with me. I have no problem with that. I'm not a big fan of winter anymore. What did Florida, Central Florida Bigfoot do it? I got to go to bed.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to meet him too.
Matt's cool people. He's fun. I ran into him up in Lakeland, Florida. We were at the Bigfoot conference.
I understand he lives up in Tampa.
Yeah, we were at the Bigfoot conference. That was cool to meet all. That was the first thing. Was it? Besides 168, yeah, that was the first thing I'd gone to. Where to actually meet people. It was fun. Who else?
I was surprised you moved to where I live.
Huh?
I was surprised you moved to where I live. I was like, hey, I can meet that guy. He'll be easy to recognize. He's got a bandana on.
It's funny because when I'm fishing, I don't wear a bandana.
Oh, are you serious?
What's weird is
I look every time I go over the damn bridge. I look to see if somebody's over there looks like you, and I ain't never seen no damn bandana.
And people don't recognize me without it at first, and it's it's just weird, It's just, I guess it just sticks out that much, and then I put it on, and then they're like, "Oh, that's better." Let me get Stevie back on here. Stevie is up in towards Orlando.
Change of scenery and lighting. Sorry, you'd have thought I checked my battery before I got on. My phone died. So I'm plugged in right now at the moment. Sorry about the lighting.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
So how long have you lived in Florida? No, I'm back home.
About 10 years.
Where are you originally from?
Texas.
Oh, right on.
I'm very familiar with Texas.
What part of Florida are you from?
I'm originally from Plano, Texas.
No,
I live on Pine Island in Bokeelia.
Get out. That's funny.
Yeah, well, Pine Island is just, a little to the...
And he lives in Cape Coral somewhere.
Yeah, I'm Central Florida, just outside of Orlando. I'm not familiar with the west side, past Tampa, maybe.
I have to laugh. Media Palace, what's happening? Roost just had an epiphany. Where is it? Oh, man. Check it out. Stevie is a woman? Oh my God.
I couldn't believe that 3PO guy's in England.
Oh yeah, Mr. Lee.
That's crazy.
Funny.
Yeah, it's like 3 a.m. over there or some crazy shit.
That's my bedtime.
It's probably later than that, actually. Closer to 4. Yeah, that's tough, but it's just amazing to have people from all over the world, come and hang out. England, New Zealand, Australia. It's just that's
Philippines, everywhere.
yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Speaking
what
of
did you say your email address was again?
monstermogion@gmail.com. MOGOLLON. I can read.
That's
So
the only thing. That's the only thing bad about using my phone. I can't follow chat. I feel lost.
oh, damn!
Great to
That is,
try
you
because
must
I'll end
feel
up hanging
lost.
up on myself. Huh?
Is that you must feel lost without chat?
Well, how many
Yeah.
of your listeners are up in Tennessee? Do you know? Are there a few or?
Not sure.
That's Mark, Larry.
Yeah, those guys. They're
Those
well.
guys.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
in Tennessee. Why? I always thought they were in Texas.
no, they're in I think Memphis area over that way.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Some one of them is, I think. I'm. Have you spent time in Tennessee?
No, but I'm wanting to buy some land up there for hunting deer.
Oh, right on.
So
Yeah, there's some pretty land in Tennessee, that's for
I've
sure.
never even been in that state as far as I can remember, except for driving through it.
Yeah, I lived south of Nashville in a town called Antioch for about a year, a little less than a year. Because, well, as you'll find out tonight, I do sing, so I had to go to Nashville. I just, that was a bucket list item, and you'll never hear me talk about a bucket list. But yeah, going to check out Nashville and just kick it there for the time I did. It was fun. Do the lights go out in Florida? Did the lights go out in Florida? What is this?
Because I'm dark now. Like,
Oh,
and both
all
of us.
right. So everybody's dark.
Hey, I'm doing good just to be logged on. I just don't believe it.
Right there. It looks like everybody left.
Right.
Yeah, it's dark out here on the island.
Huh?
It's dark out here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty area you're in, dude. I like Bokeelia. I haven't hit that restaurant right on the tip there though. The one out by the pier. Any good? Is it any good?
Personal opinion, no.
Okay. No.
None of them were any good.
No,
They
lie
tried
to
other
me.
food, in my opinion.
Huh.
Do better just to go to the fishmonger and cook it yourself,
Well, that's the way I like to do it anyway.
or catch it and cook it yourself.
It's better.
Yeah, a guy just a week and a half ago was catching redfish the length of your leg out there off the end of the
Really?
pier. Yeah, big old bull reds.
Wow. I was catching spadefish, and I caught one catfish yesterday. So far, I've only caught like one snook since I've been here.
I have to take you fishing. We'll have to go when it's full tide and the tide starts going out. That's the best time to go fishing.
Well, that's when I was fishing yesterday. The tide just came in. When you got the hour before, the hour after, where it's an ebb tide, and just bobbered. Because I was fishing a float with a shrimp, and once it starts going the other way, that's when everything started hitting.
Yeah.
Because it was dead up till that point, and nothing was hitting. And everybody left that was fishing around me. They just got tired of waiting, and they weren't catching anything. So everybody left, and I just stuck it out for like 30 minutes more and started hitting them.
Well, has Stevie had an experience with a Bigfoot?
I've been screamed at 2 different occasions about 10 years apart. I haven't seen it. I'd love to, just for my own curiosity. I was part of the 168 with Mogs out there with Kerry Arnold and them. That was a hell of an experience. It was all right. I'm considered an enthusiast, an extreme enthusiast, I guess. But
and that's what I would call myself, an enthusiast. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I was traveling across Gator Highway a couple weeks ago and posted that I saw one of the trees pulled over and set over the fence so they could cross over the road.
Really?
But,
I actually have seen that going up I-4, like around Lakeland area, from Lakeland to Tampa.
where those high game fences are.
What was that?
Well, this was down on Alligator Alley going across from Miami and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was this huge log just thrown over top of and there were no trees around there. So it had to have been drug over just to be thrown over the fence.
Just so they can get over it. Huh.
Well, after listening to the show, that's what I figured.
It's a good possibility.
Now, the experience I had was as a kid in East Texas, in Sims, in that New Boston area where I guess Debbie Jones lives.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard one as a child, and I remember asking, "What is that?" Everybody's like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
And then later on, when they started having shows, that same noise was supposedly one and made the hair stand up on my arms.
Oh no!
Like, I heard that noise before.
Yeah, both times that I've experienced it, it was, you know, you don't want to say you were being screamed at because I don't know, but it was real close, and it scares the head of you because it just shocks you, catches you off guard. The first time was when I was in the Army. I was coming back from the NCO club late at night and got screamed at so loud that you could tell it was something tall enough up in the tree that it just shook the tree. You felt it. We hit the ground. We just, you know, you kick into military mode where we just dropped to the ground like, what the fuck was that? You know, it was intense. And then fast forward years later, I worked for Parks and I was at work, and I've told this story before, where I got screamed at from right behind me. I mean, it felt like it was just hovering over me, went through my body. And I'd like to think that I don't tend to freeze in moments of, you know, like that, but you can't help it. You just can't help it. It shocks you. It terrifies you for a second until my brain kicks in, and I just ran back to the office, towards the office where I knew the rest of the people were. So I wasn't by myself more. Yeah, safety, just getting the hell away from
Joe Parker wants to know, Steve, you pee your pants?
Man, I tell you what, you'd like to think, you know, I mean, everything shuts down. Your brain just doesn't work for a minute. You can't wrap your head around what the hell is that, you know. And the guy that I was with tried to convince me later on, and even for years later, that it was a fox scream. I'm like, come on, man, I've been out in the woods. I know what a fox sounds like. A fox ain't gonna rattle a tree, you know. I mean, not a big pine tree up in, you know, 20 feet in the air. It just, yeah, can't convince me.
Growing up and going hunting in Texas, all those years I was hunting, you never realized you heard them until later on when the internet started popping off and everybody started doing shows like this. But all that stuff you heard back when you were younger just made you think, like, holy crap.
I just got to say hi to Harry Man Hoaxes and Hoodwinks. What's up, Nikki? And Nikki, don't get into that now, please. Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go so you can sing.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that. Damn it.
You ain't getting off the hook, Bubba. Now everybody wants to hear you.
Yeah, no, I committed to it, so I have to bite the bullet.
Are you free this weekend to meet up?
Not. I'll let you know, dude.
Right.
I'm not sure what I'm doing this weekend. But email me and you know, we'll talk.
Will. All right, bud.
All right, man.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for coming on, man. Pleasure to meet you.
Talking to you.
Take care. Oh, I pushed the remove, but he had already clicked off, and then it was on your remove, and I had to like let off easily because I was afraid you were going to disappear
again.
Excuse me.
Yeah, buddy, you committed to it. Now you got to do it.
Yeah, I know.
You'll be all right.
I don't know how it's going to sound with the with the music though, because it's just coming out of my phone. Oh, Jeff's back. Hold on. What's up, man?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
All right, you?
How
I'm hanging
you
in there.
doing?
How's Stevie doing?
I'm hanging in there, you know.
You're looking great.
Thank you. Thank you.
We had a good. It was fun the other night when Mose was sharing your comments. When you were, who was she talking? Who had said that? Connor? Who had said something to her about?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was just so hilarious.
I'm texting Stevie earlier. She goes, "I'm going to jump in the shower." I said, "No, you're not."
And what did I say back? I love those
I got
emojis.
back.
Well, that's like you saying earlier that I couldn't catch you. You said you're gonna run. I couldn't catch
run
you.
faster.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh no, that was funny with Connor though. He was like, "Oh,
Well, I mean, it kind of walked
Oh,
right into that one, pardon the pun, you know.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is I gotta say,
he rolled
Connor,
into that one.
I know Connor. I knew exactly what he was talking about, and I was agreeing with him. And then it dawned on me. I'm like, I can't pass this moment. I didn't mean it for you to post it.
Joe Parker says, "Mogs, do you sound better than Bear's wife?" Joe, I have no idea because me or Squatch and Cowboy, Kenny, and myself were all in the woods when she sang. So I have no idea what she sounds like. But that was funny. You know, I didn't realize. I brought my computer and speakers and figured out how to make a PA system and shit, and they brought one. Like Old Bear showed up and he had like this big huge tower speaker and amplifier, and because they do he does a sermon on Sundays. He's a pastor. But I thought I was all slick with a PA system, and he whips this big thing out. What the hell? You putting on a concert?
Pulls out the spotlights.
Yeah, So, who? I just wanted to see if Juanita. I knew I saw somebody. How are you, Juanita? That I didn't get to say hi to. Miss Dill, how are you?
Miss Dill.
She says hi to all the Mogsters.
That's right.
So what's up, man? You good, Jeff?
Get cold here.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Getting old?
No, it's getting cold.
Yeah, I'm getting old too.
I was like, what?
Actually, the older I get, the more I notice how cold it's getting.
That's why I'm staying away from the cold so I don't feel old.
I started paddling at about 5:30 this morning, and my shoulders are cramping up. I was like, man, this has never really happened to me before. But then I realized, well, it's like 37 degrees, and it just I'm getting older.
Probably didn't have
where
enough
I just
fluid.
can't move through that stuff. I used to.
Sorry, I'm just looking for a damn lighter. Oh, there it is.
Oh my God, that's what I've been doing for the last minute, trying to find the word.
You look like you're searching for something.
The last 5 minutes, I've been looking around. At first, I'm thinking, what the heck is she doing?
Hey, Flat Rock, what's happening? That's somebody I want to go hang out with. Is Flat Rock? Flat Rock,
yeah.
Go to Alabama and hang out up there. That would be awesome.
He's got a lot going on out there around us.
If somebody said I could put together a list of 10 people to go hang out with for a weekend in your chat, the problem is I couldn't do it. I mean, there's like
not just 10.
You'd be looking at the 11th person saying I don't have enough room on the list.
Yeah, big tough. I don't think I could do it.
Only 10, 11 people. Yeah, no, that's not enough.
No, I mean, I've referenced to the 168. Look how there was 19, 20 people at the most. And that was, that wasn't even touching the tip of the iceberg there of who could have been a part of that,
Yeah.
Just think of who you would like to share a campfire with. There's more than 10, for sure.
Yeah, but we never even lit a campfire.
No, well, we did that. You did that one
The
night.
last 2 nights or something. We tried. We were just burning trash, basically.
Well, we had to drive 5 miles just to find the firewood because we weren't allowed to cut anything down.
Yeah.
Had to get rid of all the evidence.
Well, that's what happened. The fire pit ended up just turning into a garbage barrel.
Yeah.
We had to empty it out just to burn something.
Yep. Yeah, we had to. We went on a field trip just to find some firewood to burn.
If you can get it hot enough, you can burn your beer cans.
It's gotta be cooking now. Yeah, we were looking for wood right on this canal, and this canal basically splits Florida. I mean, it goes both ways from the lake to the coasts. And that's the canal we were on. It was pretty cool. I almost fell in that canal. The first night I got there, I didn't even know it was there. It was dark. I was chasing my dog.
You almost ended up in that canal.
Yeah. I didn't realize it until
the next morning, pretty much.
Whatever. When we finally, I was like, where the hell did my dog, we went and looked at it and I was like, oh shit.
All I know is you and Carrie Arnold were gone, and I was left standing there, and I was hearing crickets. It was so quiet. I'm like, oh shit. I see Carrie come around the corner with Carrie and Lucy. Yeah. And then a few minutes later, I hear you coming back out of the brush.
Trying not to throw up.
Yeah.
From running so fast and that was terrible. And that set the pace for the whole week.
Yeah.
I kept chasing those damn dogs, Lucy.
Yeah. Florida's the one state that you don't want to just fall into a canal.
No.
You never know what's waiting for you in the canal.
No, there's, the campsite, we were across the street from this canal, and, there was a gator walking around, and just down, we saw gators.
Well, I remember driving out that first night when everybody packed in, and we drove out to the first week. And as I got out of the van, we're right there now. I walk over, I look, and immediately saw two gators. I mean, no, you could actually see them with the moonlight. They were right there. Big old gators. I was like, whoa, there. I'll stay right here. Yeah, that's one thing that's not short of. Definitely gators everywhere.
Good to see you, Iron. Just hanging out by the fire. Right on.
I'm trying to wave. do like this.
Oh, wait. What did Uncle Bones just say? I'm just going to post it so we can read it. Moog's wearing nothing but pheromones and snake gaiters for safety in the deep woods. Boombox playing Red Bones 1974 hit Come and Get Your Love.
Hey, that doesn't sing in a...
No.
Don't even try.
Yeah, they're getting out of it that easy, huh? No. That's all right. No,
I got a pretty good seat to be. Hopefully it's not overcast there so she can see that hunter's moon up there.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I can't imagine the view.
What else? So yeah, I keep totally forgetting about it, and then I realize what I said I'd do, and I get that anxiety attack.
Well, then you don't drink either. I mean, usually you can just wolf down a couple shots of tequila, and the courage level flies, and just let it rip.
Yeah, and it's funny because I quit drinking and I got away from singing. I don't know why. I mean, I sang out here. I went to the American Legion that one night, and it felt good. You know, it just felt good to sing. It's like, oh, I remember this.
The first night you do it, after you quit drinking, you're standing there looking at, there's only 5 people there, and you're like, damn, there's a lot of people here. When you were hammered, there was probably 200 people there. It didn't bother you.
Yeah, no, it was I did a contest in Prescott, Arizona, and it was outside, and there were hundreds of people all over the place. That was an interesting experience.
So, you know, real serious karaoke singers that go around the places, keep track of who's doing what every weekend. They all have their own. I mean, they don't even look at a list anymore because they've got their in their
repertoire.
pocket everything. So I got to ask you, what would be the top 5 songs on your repertoire?
If you could read my mind, Anymore by Travis Tritt, Turn the Page by Bob Seger, some Garth Brooks tune, and a Toby Keith song. Maybe Tim McGraw, but yeah, well, you know, country, except for the Bob Seger. Yeah, I always lose my voice by the end of that song now.
I had a friend that couldn't sing well and didn't like to sing, and when everybody would force him to go do a karaoke song, he'd go do Tequila because the only thing he had to say is Tequila. Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
He'd do the funny little Pee Wee Herman walk around and stuff, and then he'd stop, yell Tequila.
Well, it's funny. I ran karaoke back. Well, I say back east. I am back east, up north in Jersey for a while, and there were just some songs that like you got so tired of, like because everybody would sing it over and over and over again, like "Paradise by the Dashboard Light" by Meatloaf.
Oh God! You could stick an air compressor hose in my ear and blow out my eardrums, and I'd be happy. There's like 3 songs that. And then here's the other song.
Sweet Caroline.
Well, I don't mind that so much. But 3/4 of women in the bar are there waiting for their turn to sing Black Velvet. It's like, you know, it's like we're going to have a Black Velvet contest tonight. It's like, good grief.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, there are some songs that you're just like, oh shit. You know, this one again. But
if I'm singing at a karaoke night, I try to sing a song that people, I'll sing something that people familiar with, they know, but they're like, oh man, I haven't heard that song. You know, that it makes it just a little bit easier to listen to.
Sure.
And I have a pretty wide range of genres that I like. I mean, I like a lot of the old, the newer country songs are, they're a little bit harder to sing just because of the way they're produced. They're really more top 40 type.
Pop country type.
Yeah, pop country. Once, I suppose it was 10, 12 years ago, once Jason Aldean rolled into town and started doing kind of the whole big sound, it's
well, now everybody sounds like him.
A little harder to do that.
Yeah, because he also brought he kind of introduced a little bit of rap, a little, in some of his songs,
just different rhythms.
Dirt Road Anthem. Yeah, I know, Leslie. I shouldn't be smoking. Really, I got to quit this. I'm just trying to get comfortable, and I keep kicking. I get everything set up. I'm not in my studio right now, and I have it set up on one of those little TV tables. So it's just a little cramped here. I've always, I was always into, growing up was, rock, Zeppelin, The Who, the 70s. And the country back in the 70s was not even close to what it is today.
Oh, Waylon and Willie.
Yeah. And, my dad
was country western.
We got
Hank
both
Williams,
country and
Williams,
western.
Jr.
Blues Brothers. Never mind. But my dad was always in the country, so when I spend time with him, we'd listen to country music, and he kind of turned me on to it. So I just love it. So wait, Joe, don't pull my leg. Mogs, Mr. Lee says he's ready to come on. Well, he knows where the link is. See, he's like, no, I'm gonna be a pussy.
Everybody always eggs him on, and
that's what I said. If he had to choose between coming on and like saving the world would be screwed.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever.
There'll be. I'll tell you. I think there will be a day that he comes on. It's gonna be after I'm dead and gone and all that.
Talk about getting old, right? That'll be the day he comes on.
Yeah.
Richie's like rock. I hate rock. Yeah, I grew up with it.
But rock has so many fringes to it. I mean, really, what are you saying when? I mean, if you look at some of the things like Bob Seger, you mentioned Bob Seger before. I mean, some of his songs are really rock and roll, and yet some of his songs are really kind of that bluesy fringe of, and it's hard to say. If there's genres that I could say I don't like, but almost every one of them has one or two songs that I like. I mean, I can say I don't like rap, but I'll sit there and I enjoy listening to 99 Problems, by Jay-Z or something like that, just
old school rap.
Yeah, back in the day, that's just a genre that's really evolved and changed,
Yeah.
Oh, I remember like the beginning of rap. Going back to
like Dougie Fresh and
the MTV days.
The Sugar Hill Gang.
Yes, that was the first that I remember.
Rapper's Delight.
Yep.
Well, I knew like that the Sugar Hill Records was owned by the Robinsons, and I went to school with like the Robinsons, like Leland and whoever else, and they were kind of like neighbors. But yeah, it was interesting to look back and see like, oh wait, I remember that shit when when it was coming out and what it evolved into.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to see some of those movies that are, documentary based that cover those areas too, the rap.
A lot of the rap is geographical too, it's geographical.
That's what I mean, the
East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah, the Biggie
I grew up
thing,
in DC, and unless you're from DC, you don't know that there's an actual version of rap or that type of music. They call it go-go. It's go-go rap. It's a total different sound. Being from there, I recognize it in a second. Not many people do unless you're from that area. It's just what I grew up listening to, hearing it everywhere. It's definitely geographical, more than the East Coast, West Coast.
All right, let me see if I can do this shit.
Here we go.
Jeff, we got front row seats here.
That's why I got on. I wasn't going to.
That's why
I feel like I got the VIP pass where I can get an autograph afterwards, maybe a selfie with him.
Make sure he signs it.
See how many chicks show up backstage here after he's done.
He's muted.
I said I have to figure out how to hold this thing or see if the music will come out. All right, guys. If I get a strike, I get a strike. Don't give a shit. I'm shaking like a leaf. Can you hear that?
That's loud. Yep.
If you could read my mind, love, what a tale my thoughts could tell. Just like an old-time movie, About a ghost from a wishing well, in a castle dark, or a fortress strong with chains upon my feet. You know that ghost is me, and I will never be set free as long as I'm a ghost you can't see. Sounds terrible, by the way.
No, don't stop.
Mm-mm.
If I could read your mind, love, what a tale your thoughts could tell. Just like a paperback novel, the kind the drugstore sells. When you reach the part where the heartaches come, the hero would be me. But heroes often fail, and you won't read between the lines as long as I'm just trying. Oops, shit, I'm off. I gotta open my eyes and sing this. All right, I am so off key, it's not funny. Oh, stop it.
Sounds good.
That was good. That was good.
Oh, you got the mic off.
No, 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 no. I know he can't hit. He doesn't know. Get his attention. Hey. Oh no. He's gonna have to do it
Here's the
over again
deal.
now.
Here,
He's
no,
gonna have
no,
to do it
listen.
all over again.
Everybody in chat, nobody say that he's got it off. That way, when he's done, we're all just gonna say, "Man, that was freaking amazing." Don't anybody say his mic's off. He won't even know.
He won't. And I feel like
Look
he's
at him. Look
he's
at him
doing
singing
his
his
best.
heart out.
He is.
It's like
I'm sorry.
it's like he's in the shower and nobody's listening.
Can't hear. You can't hear. You can't hear.
I was muted, wasn't I?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
I just broke my phone.
Now you got to do it over again.
While you were singing muted, I was telling the whole chat, everybody don't say that he was muted. Just say, dude, that was freaking amazing.
No, dude, I am so off. It's not funny.
No, I thought you did real good.
You were doing great.
You're off.
Oh, I
You were
was
doing
so
great.
off. I'm in the wrong key. I'm way high. I'm like, oh my God, this sucks.
No, I thought you did great, and I will say this: if anybody
Yeah.
in chat wants to say different, get your ass
Yeah.
on here, click the link,
Do it yourself.
start singing.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
No,
that was terrible. Terrible.
Oh, stop. Stop.
But yeah, I you know, I love singing that song, and I'm a nervous wreck right now, and the key, whatever. But yeah, sorry if it sucked.
No, I thought it was awesome.
It was great, and I'm proud of you
And
because
I
I know
like
that
that
was easy
song.
for you. I know.
And I like that song because everybody talks about, like when you said, I'm going to sing Gordon Lightfoot song. Everybody's like, Sundown, you know, all you know, like most artists, their top 3 or 4 songs aren't my favorites. My favorites are down in the list, you know what I mean? Almost everybody is, every artist, and I love that song by Gordon.
Well, see, I this is every time I see Brandy come in, I'm always like, I have that song in my head, but Looking Glass. So I always wanted to burst out into that song, you know.
Yeah, that was good. That was very good.
I used to greet her doing that.
I'm blushing. I'm like,
I'd say, Brandy, you're a fine girl when she'd pop in, and then I remember one time you said, "Don't do that, Jeff." Now I got that song in my head.
Damn it. No, that's a pretty cool song, and I do Sundown. You know, that's it's a standard as far as Gordon Lightfoot goes. Lightfoot. Ida says now you need to record an album.
Yeah,
this was terrible. To me,
well, you seem to be the only one to think that. So
I was nervous wreck, and if you really, I'll have to. Well, I don't know. We'll do
Okay, so now I gotta ask Stevie. Stevie, the 3 of us go out to the karaoke bar. You have to sing a song. What song?
No, actually, I'll be the one with the phone recording everything. The 2 of you.
I get that. I get
What
that, but if
song would
they
you
were
sing
saying,
though?
"Hey, look," if they said, "Hey, you sing a song," or
No, wouldn't
they
happen.
threaten you with something like, "You'll lose your feet if you don't sing this song."
Well, I
So
guess
what
I
are you
got
gonna
nothing to
sing?
worry about then, huh?
Yeah.
You still won't hear me sing. No,
I could just see you like, oh no, not that.
I know.
Oh, come
It's
on.
like,
People
"Hey,
are
free pass! I
people
don't
said they
have
have
to sing
tears
now."
in their eyes. Come on.
Well, Jeff, do you sing? I mean,
Thank you. Go ahead.
What's
what
that?
would you sing? What song would you sing if you were singing karaoke right now? It's your turn. What song?
I would probably do like "Round Here" by Counting Crows. Something that is, you know, something that when people hear it, they're like, "Oh man, this is a cool song," but it's not one you hear every. You know what I mean?
No, I was.
That's an example of the type of song.
Mr. Lee is like, encore mugs. The sailors say
Well,
brandy.
actually, Mr. Lee Mogs was the opening act tonight. We're waiting for you to take the limelight here. He's got the crowd warmed up for you.
It ain't gonna happen.
Lee just
okay,
needs to,
so
he needs to
without
come
him
on and
having
do
the,
it. I'm sorry.
well, let's say okay, we won't egg him on to come on, but I would like to know what would be the song he would sing if he were to come on.
Oh, there you go. He just does. He just says no. He doesn't even like.
Just
argue.
intrigue us a little bit. You know, give us a
Mr. Lee.
little
Mr. Lee, if
tease.
you go out and sing karaoke, what would you sing? Let us know. Lost and Found by Brooks and Dunn. Sing one. Which one is Lost and Found? I don't remember that one.
I don't think I know that one.
Who sounds like Ricky Skaggs again? Well, Ricky Skaggs sounds like him, but
I like what I would call, it's not modern country, but it was prior to that. It's not old school country. It's like I would do like "Her Man" by Gary Allan. Or
Gary Allan's
Every
got
Light.
some great stuff.
Yeah.
Or "Every Light in the House is On" by.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a great song. I mean, I kind of like those songs just because they really tell a cool story. You know.
I've done that actually. I did that in karaoke. I used to do like a lot of Mark Chestnut and it's funny back when I was doing karaoke. Right now everything is computerized, but back then it was on CDs or before that it was laser discs. But I used to spend like $30 on one CD for maybe 2 songs out of 15 songs.
Yeah. Yep. I think we all did that.
I like "Stupid Boy" by Keith Urban.
Yeah.
My favorite country, the time frame, the era is probably anything 90s and earlier. I want to say, but 90s country was pretty good.
So you're talking about like in the early Trisha Yearwood type phase.
Yeah.
And
well,
and the song that I love to do from back then is "Long White Cadillac" by Dwight Yoakam. And I mean, some of that, the early stuff of those bigger artists, the early stuff was so cool.
See, I like Sawyer Brown. And not a lot of people was a big fan. I thought he was good.
Yeah.
I do "The Walk" by Sawyer Brown.
See, there you go.
I've sang "Feed Jake" by Pirates of the Mississippi. That's a great old song.
Somebody put that up the other day in chat. It just said "Feed Jake."
I grew up on Patsy Cline with my mom. She used to play it all the time. Anything Patsy Cline, all the time.
My favorite female country artist was, funny story behind it, is Patty Loveless.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she had her voice when she would sing with Vince Gill, at the Opry and stuff. Yeah. I mean, her voice was just freaking amazing. And up in northern Minnesota, they always had this festival every year called We Fest, and it was like a 4-day long deal with, 100 artists, all day, all night, different, and they're all huge names. And we were up there one time, and they had a VIP section, and it's outdoors. It's huge outdoor, and there's lakes around there. So there's 5 different campgrounds on these different lakes that are all walking distance to the festival area. So it's just like Woodstock in these campgrounds, right? And Patty Loveless was playing, and it was early in the evening. It was like 6 o'clock, and we were there, and I was with a group of like 5 guys and 4 or 5 women, and I was young. I was probably in my mid-20s, and I was in my late 20s, and they had somebody walking through the crowd like in a bar, like they were selling roses, right? That like these women will go around with a basket of roses. You want to buy a rose?
Sure.
And I was like, hell yeah, I want to buy a rose. And my friend's like, why are you buying roses? I said, you'll see. I bought a rose.
Up on stage.
Who here's got a camera? Somebody gave me a camera to borrow, one of the little disposable ones. And I walk up to where the barrier is for the VIP section, and there's nobody in the VIP section. And it was probably about a 50-yard stretch from the VIP back gate to the front of the stage. And these huge security guys, we're like bar bouncers, I said, hey, I want to take a picture. Do you mind if just for a moment I step across the boundary and just take a couple steps and get a little bit closer and take a picture, and I'll come right back? And they're like, yeah, no problem. So I get about 20 feet away from it. I'm standing there like I'm taking a picture, and I just freaking take off. Right,
I was waiting for that.
I mean, I'm hauling ass. And the whole thing like slopes downhill to the stage. I mean, I'm going full speed, and I'm like taking 20-foot long steps hauling my ass to the stage. And she saw me coming. And she walked to the front of the stage and like knelt down, like she knew that I had this rose in my hand. She was gonna take it, let me give it to her. And
I was waiting for him to say
like,
somebody side tackled him.
No, it sounded like elephants behind me, and they were gaining on me. I mean, it's like you can just tell that it's getting closer and closer. These guys about 10 yards off that stage, 4 or 5 huge guys just pile drove me in the freaking dirt. And it was on the 30-foot big stage, or the screen above the stage, that the whole crowd, there's 100,000 people watching. And they were all cheering as I was running. I could hear the whole place like cheering as I run. I'm like, "Wow, this is cool," And I look up and see the screen, and the camera's like zoomed in on me from the back, and the aerial cam, they could see me running, and these guys piled me down, and everybody started booing. And so they take me around back. Like, I mean, they had each one grab my arm, and they're walking me around the back. I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna get arrested," And on the back of the stage, she was walking down these steps to the level we're at with her band, and she walked up and said, and I'm holding this rose, it's like bent 5 different directions. Half the petals are gone. She says, was that for me? And I said, yeah. And she grabbed it and gave me a kiss on the cheek and told these guys, you guys really need to let him go. And they did. And when I walked back up that aisle to where my friends were, the whole place just freaking erupted. Like, yeah! It was just funny as hell.
That's awesome, man.
That's cool.
Was it worth the beating? No.
It was. It was awesome. It was definitely worth it.
That's so cool. Yeah, I nothing that crazy. But I've met him. I think I've even mentioned it here. I've met a few different people. Willie Nelson. He walked me backstage to one of his shows. Like I got to the theater a little while before the show started, and I was back by his bus, and he came off with somebody, and I was like, I just walked up to him, put out my hand. I said, Mr. Nelson, have a great show. Unfortunately, you're sold out. And he shook my hand, and he's like, sold out. He goes, what? He puts his arm around me and walks me backstage through the crowd.
That's cool.
Says, dude, just hang out here. So I always wanted to like write this song called Walking In with Willie, you know, because people like look like, who the fuck is this guy?
Some of these guys, you just, you know, you see them from 1,000 feet away. You know, you never really get close and understand what their life's really like, you know, in those performances. I mean, it's just, for them, every day is a carbon copy. It's just another day. You know, it's kind of like Turn the Page by Bob Seger. The song really
Sure.
tells a story for a lot of these artists. It's just the same thing over and over and over. And I think their bright spot moments are when they get to meet somebody who there's a different storyline of this. I mean, Willie, he's going to walk out on a stage in front of a bunch of people. They're all going to cheer. He's going to do songs. He's going to crack a couple jokes. But for him, the highlight of the night is I met this dude who didn't have a ticket, and I got to walk his ass in, and he got to see the show.
Yeah, you know.
That's his highlight of the night. Otherwise, it's the same shit every day for him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see it becoming just a job, you know, just another show. Keep going and night after night.
So, Megan said, question, can we snap out of the backwoods inbreeding country music and get back to the talking about squatches? Bigfoot is really a rock and roller, like AC/DC.
And that's funny because AC/DC was the very first concert I ever went to. Very first. Yeah.
I am if I get in my, when I get in my Yukon, start driving, AC/DC is one of the first things to come over my
place. Yeah, but Megan, they're twice removed, so it doesn't matter. Willie Nelson is married to his sister's brother's cousin.
Twice removed.
Twice removed.
We're all married to somebody's cousin.
Well, it's what's 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, speak for yourself, Jeff.
So,
well, here's a funny story: is I was adopted, and my parents adopted me when I was a couple weeks old, you know, and I always looked at my adopted parents as my real parents. You know? But when I was about 21, I went and got my adoption records and got to meet my biological father, and then eventually met my biological mother. And just kind of because the story was that what really made me wonder was, you know, when you're in high school and you're in that 1 week of biology class where they're talking about dominant and recessive traits, whose earlobes are attached, who can roll their tongue, and then they have you go home that night and see if your parents can do that. And it's like, well, it doesn't matter if mine can or not. It's not a genetic trait for me, right? And little things like my football coach would say, you know, hey, you're pretty fast. Did your dad play football? And I'm like, yeah, I actually did, but that's not going to help you answer what you're wondering because I'm adopted, you know. And then there's prom, you know, you're going to prom with this girl. She's walking down the stairs. You think, oh, fuck, I hope she's not my cousin, you know, or something. You know, I mean, it's like you don't know what your story is, right? So that little curiosity, those weird things that you think about when you're 18, you know, I always thought if I ever, you know, and the way my adoption was set up is I could go get my adoption records if I wanted to.
It wasn't closed.
It never really had, no, it wasn't a closed adoption. They couldn't never search for me, but I could initiate a search. And I never really had a want, you know, I mean, there's these little curiosities. People say, well, what nationality are you? I don't know, you know. And so eventually I met my real dad, and I went and what happened was I got my adoption records. I had his name and my biological mother's name, and it had a lot of information on them. And I've seen the town that my biological father went to school, where him and my bio mother went to school, and they dated for like 3 years in high school. And it said that she had wrote this kind of little bio in my adoption record so that I could have kind of an understanding. He played football, she was a cheerleader, and he was going to Vietnam, and she had a full ride to go to college. And 2 weeks after he left, they had broke up when he left, and 2 weeks after he left, she found out she was pregnant. Here she's wondering, is he even going to make it back from Vietnam? So she put me up for adoption. And then when he came back, he said he was really disturbed by that because he thought, this is something I didn't really get a say in, but he understood the position that she was in, single
Sure.
mom, has her whole college ahead of her. So anyways, to make a long story short, I went to the high school to get the annuals because I just wanted to see what they looked like in high school. I didn't care about really meeting them, right? And I opened up this yearbook and I'm looking at a picture of my biological father, and he looked just like. I mean, I was young at that time. I'm like 21, 22, and I'm just like, holy shit! It's like looking at a mirror. And this principal that was sitting across the table from me in the library, I went into the office and said, can I look at your annual? He walked me down the library. This guy's like 80 years old. And he says, he goes, what year annual do you want to look at? And I told him. And he says, who are you looking up? And I told him both of their names. And he turned to one page and said, this is him. And he turned to another page and showed me this is her. And as I'm looking at these pictures, I mean, I was just kind of lost in looking at them. And he said, I've got 2 granddaughters that are adopted, and I hope someday they get to do what you're doing. And it was like, you could have hit me in the side of the head with it too, but I didn't tell this guy. And I said, how do you know what I'm doing? And he goes, I've been the principal here for 34 years. He says, I remember these 2 walking halls. They dated for 3 years in high school. He went to Vietnam and she went to USD on a full ride. He says, I remember her freshman year, the first semester, she made the dean's list her first semester as a freshman. And then she dropped out of college for 1 semester. And then she came back. And he said, I always wondered what happened there. And he says, this makes sense. She left college that second semester to have this baby. And then she went back. And he says, do you ever think about meeting them? I said, well, I don't know where they live. And he says, your dad lives about 4 blocks away from you.
Oh,
He
wow.
said, I see him every other day. I said, really? And he goes, yeah. He says, I think he'd like to meet you. He didn't marry your biological mother. He married another woman who brought a child into that marriage that's about your age, but he never had kids of his own. He said, I really think he'd like to meet. So I don't mean to hijack this with the story, but
No, dude, I'm enthralled. I'm like,
I checked into a hotel that night, and I looked up in the phone book and found my dad's name, and I thought, it said in these adoption records that she didn't tell the biological father about the pregnancy because he had left to Vietnam and she had no plans to tell him. So I'm thinking he doesn't even know I exist, right? So I look up his number and I call him. And I said, hey, I'm trying to do some research on a family member that I understand people have told me you knew her in high school. And he says, yeah, what's her name? And I told him her name. And he said, yeah, I knew her. And I said, do you mind if we get together tomorrow morning for coffee and talk a little bit? And he said, no, I don't mind at all. I'd love to. And he says, where are you staying? And I told him the hotel I'm staying at. I told him my name. And we got off the phone. And about 20 minutes later, the phone rings in this hotel room. And I had told my adopted parents that where I was, and they supported me in doing this search, But they didn't. I told them I was what city I was in. I never told them the hotel I'm in. So when this thing's ringing, I'm thinking, who would be calling me, right? And I picked up and it's him. And he says, listen, I know it's late. It's like 9:30. He says, but I'm not tired. I'm gonna be out for a while. He said, well, I just gave you my address and you come over. I said, okay. And he gave me the address and I got off the phone and it's just like this surreal moment, like, holy shit, man, I'm gonna meet my dad for the first time, right? And I drove over there and I parked in front of the house and I got out of the car and I just stood there thinking, I wanted to do this, but I felt like I had every emotion you could ever experience, like fear, joy, everything all at once, right? It's like, I just was like, man, I feel like I might just get in my car and peel off the tires and take off. I don't know if I can do this at that point. But I just thought, just go up there and knock on the door. So I knocked on the door, and this nice lady answered, and she said, Jim's in the shower right now. She says, I'm his wife, Dina. She says, and I was standing there, and you could tell I looked pretty nervous. And she leaned like uncomfortably close to me, like right up next to my face, and she says, and my knees just about gave out. I mean, I was like, what the
What did
fuck
she
are you
say?
talking about? He knows. She said, he knows.
Oh.
Oh.
She said, when you called, when he came back from Vietnam, she said that my biological mother had told him that she had this baby and put it up her. And I didn't know all this in this story, right? I learned that at this point. And I said, I really wasn't prepared for this. I thought I could meet him and get to know him without telling. I didn't think he knew that he had a son. And she says, as soon as he got off the phone with you, when you first called him, he started running through the house screaming, it's him, it's him, it's him.
Oh man.
She said he knew that when you turned 18 that you could legally come search for him. And so on just in December on my birthday, on my 18th birthday, she said he got up that day and got dressed and combed his hair, and he's a hunting guy, cattle rancher, right? I mean, this isn't normal for him. And she said he stood by that front window and looked out the window all day long, thinking that maybe you'd show up. And that was 3 years ago. And she says, I want to show you something. And she brings me over to his desk and pulls open this drawer and takes out this stack of like calendars. And it was all these calendars since he got back from Vietnam, where he was checking off days, thinking when he turns 18, I might get to meet him. And when that came and went, he spent the next 3 years just kind of feeling like maybe it'll happen. But then she said this last year, I think he just kind of came to grips with the fact that this isn't going to happen, that it's just not going to work that way. But she said still, like when he goes out and mows the lawn, when a car drives up the street, he'll stop mowing and just watch that car drive by just to see who it is. And then he'll start mowing again. She said, you can just tell it's always been there. And she says, just don't be nervous about this, because he's in there taking a shower right now, and he's been in the shower for 25 minutes. He's never taken a shower over 2 minutes in his life. He's just as nervous as you are. He doesn't know what to say, right? And so he came out, and he says, hey, my name is Jim. And I said, my name is Jeff. I said, I'm your son. And he goes, yeah. He says, I figured that out. And we sat down, and all night long until the sun came up, we started talking about when he played football. He said, did you play football? And I said, yeah. And he said, what position? We played the same position. We were both number 27. He was in the Army. I was in the Army. I was a weapons specialist, and he was the door gunner on a Black Hawk helicopter. I mean, we had so much shit in common that it was freaking scary. I mean, it was crazy. But I mean, it was so surreal, And after that, about 3 or 4 day weekend a month, I would go up there and go hunting with him and stuff. And I always call him Jim, and he calls me Jeff. I don't call him Dad, because like I say, in my mind, I really lived a good life as a kid. I mean, we went on vacations. My parents were awesome. My adopted dad will always be my dad, But it was just to feel like I had a connection of where I came from finally. It was just
So
crazy.
Jeff, let me tell you, talk about full circle. I got to say this. We started off earlier talking about numbers. What number did you play at football? What was your number?
I was number 27 and he was number 27. We were both defensive backs.
Yeah. So now you got to talk about it.
Oh. Well, my birthday is November 27th. My sister's is May 27th. My other sister's December 27th. My grandson is March 27th. My dad was married my dad and mom were married on the 27th. My dad went into the Navy and got out of the Navy on the 27th. So yeah, I feel you with the 27th.
When I got married, I was 29 when I finally grew up enough to get married. But we built a house the first year we were married, and it's our house in Sioux Falls. And the address of the house is 27007.
That's awesome.
And it's just like I keep seeing that number all the time. All the time.
My new telephone number has 27 a few times in
Yeah.
it.
But there was other things that we talked about that was just like the first time we shared, like when he asked me about football, and I was like, yeah, I played that position. Wow, we played the same position. And he says, what number were you? And I'm like, I was 27. He goes, so was I. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he says, did you wrestle? Did you wrestle? And I said, yeah. I says, as a sophomore, I went to the state championship. He says, yeah. He goes, I wrestled too. He goes, what weight did you wrestle at? And I said, 138. He goes, that's what weight I wrestled. And then I come to find out, he tells me about how he's a fishing guide. And I grew up, my adopted dad was a hunting and fishing guide. And we went fishing all the time to a point where when I was in my 20s, I bought a really nice tournament boat and started fishing walleye tournaments all over the place, right? Turns out that the year before meeting him here, we're sitting here having this conversation, the year prior, we both fished in the Governor's Cup. And he got 7th place, and I got 8th place. I stood right behind him at the weigh-in line. At the award
Crazy.
Wow.
He was standing right in front of me.
I just got chills, guys. I'm like, my legs are just, the hair on my legs are sticking right out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So,
That's an amazing story, dude.
yeah, that was cool. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, you know, I actually, it's funny because I met my biological mother eventually too, and she was married to a guy, and they're pretty wealthy, and she had never told him that she had a son in college, you know, and so it turns out that she has 2 kids that would be my half brother and half sister, you know, and they don't know I exist. And at the time, they were like in high school and in junior high, it's a boy and a girl. And I really wanted to meet them, but I thought, you know what, this is her choice. I can't make that choice. You know, someday her kids will be adults, you know, and maybe they'll come to realize they have a brother. And if they want to meet me, I'd love to meet them. And if they don't, I'm fine with that too, right? But I'd like to. I mean, if you asked anybody in chat, if you found today that you had a brother that you didn't know about, would you want to meet him? Everybody would say yes. Nobody says no to them. But this wasn't my choice to make. It was hers. You know, if she didn't want to tell them that she had, and I didn't want to try to initiate contact with them and then have them judge their mom and think like, how could you keep a secret? Well, she's got her reasons for whatever they are. They might not be right, but that it was her decision, not mine, right? And one night when I was bartending at a local bar in my hometown, this wasn't long after meeting my biological mother. She had called me and said, I'm in town for a wedding. Can I come and pick you up? And we go for a drive. I said, sure. And she came by and I got in her Cadillac and we drove around town. I showed her the high school I went to. I showed her the 2 or 3 homes that I had lived in that my dad had built, you know. Told her about how we'd go on vacations and where we go. And my parents, a year after adopting me, had their own daughter, so that I have a sister that is their biological child. And we've always been equals. I mean, I never felt less than compared to her, you know, in their eyes. And I think this was healing for her to realize that she had made the right decision at that point. Because, you know, you give a baby up for adoption, you always wonder, did he get adopted by axe murderers? You know, I mean,
they never.
She lived an awful long time wondering if she made the right choice, and based on her convenience and circumstances, she may feel she did, but you can't really say, yeah, I did, without knowing what happened to the kid. So I think it gave her peace of mind. And after that, I've never talked to her again. And about 9 years later, when my first son was born, I called her up. It's crazy. I don't know why I did. I called her up and said, she answered the phone, and I said, hey, this is Jeff Harding in Sioux Falls. And she said, not interested, and hung up the phone. And I thought, shit, I didn't even get to tell her she's a grandma, you know? But I think she was in the room with her husband, and she had to make it look like this was a telemarketer that called. You know, it may have been one of those deals where she made a decision not to tell him. And now that skeleton's in the closet. She just, for whatever reason, she feels like he'll never forgive me if I tell him. And so it just has to remain a secret. Even if she doesn't want it to at this point, she's kind of stuck, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, if my wife said to me before I ever met you, I had a child in college and I gave it up for adoption, and someday he might come around, and I want you to know that I want you to be open to that. You know, it doesn't mean our family isn't our family and our two kids aren't our two kids, but, you know, would you support me at least having contact with him, you know? And there's no way I'd say no to that, but for whatever reason, she couldn't get over that.
It's a shame.
So, you know, it's not, but so then here's this is what was really funny. I was speaking at an adoption deal in our state at a big city, and I was the keynote speaker. I shared my little journey about meeting my real father with people because I try to connect people to the value of adoption. I mean, I think that everybody knows somebody who was adopted. Maybe they have a cousin who was adopted, but they're not really connected to it, like really connected to it. So when I share my story, I try to take them on a journey so that they can understand what it would be like, right? And then it's a little bit easier for them to say, well, I support adoption rather than just being neutral, you know? And so I was sharing this story at this deal, and afterwards, this old guy walks up to me. I mean, this guy looked 100 years old, and he had two teenage girls with him. And he said to me, do you remember me? I said, no. And he says, I'm the principal in the story you just told.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow, you know? And he goes, yeah, my granddaughters are here with me, and I wanted them to hear your story. I recognized your name when I saw you as the keynote speaker. That's why I bought tickets to this. And he said, I always wondered how it ended. You know, I told you where your dad lived, and that's the last time I saw it. I always wondered how this story ended, you know, and now I got to hear it. And he goes, I just want to know how you feel about how it ended. And I said, it's hard having a brother and a sister that don't know that I exist, and I can't initiate contact with them. And to some extent, I've got some resentment towards her for that, if I'm being honest. I've never told another person this before, but that's how I feel about it, right? Like, it could have been the perfect Hollywood ending, and it wasn't. It just sucked the way that the ending comes, that I've got a brother and sister that don't even know about me, right? And he goes, listen, he says, I know you're frustrated by it. I know I would feel the same way. But he said, I want you to consider something. She was a freshman in college, and this wasn't convenient for her to be pregnant. You were a wrench in her machine. And in fact, he says, I've come to find out after doing some research that when she dropped out of her after her freshman year, she had a full ride to go to college, and she came from a poor family. And when she left after her freshman semester to go up to this home for unwed mothers to have this baby, right? And at that time, she was like 4 months pregnant. And she got a letter while she was there that said that if she didn't return to college immediately for a second semester, that she'd lose her scholarship. They weren't going to let her take a semester off for her convenience. So she started looking around, figuring out how can I get an abortion so that I can go back to school right away. And at this home for unwed mothers, she had a roommate, another girl who was pregnant. And this girl's parents were rich. And they had came to visit their daughter that night. And my mom was out in the courtyard because she had arranged to get an abortion 2 days after that. And they saw her my mom out in the corner crying when they were coming to visit her daughter, and her parents, that their daughter's parents said, "Hey, go sit in the car for a moment and give us a minute here." And they sat down with my mom and said, "What's wrong? Tell us what's wrong." And my mom felt like, these people don't know me, so they aren't going to judge me. So she told them the whole deal, how she's going to lose her scholarship if she doesn't have an abortion. And she doesn't want to go back to school because she can't pay for it. And she feels like she doesn't have a choice. And this couple said, so the only reason why you'd get an abortion is because you can't afford to pay for 3.5 years of college. And she said, yeah. And they said, well, what if we offered to pay for your college? Would you stay here and have this baby? And she said, I don't know. And they said, why don't you come out to eat with us? We're going to take our daughter out to eat. So they went out to eat. And at the end of the night, they asked her again, if we write a check for 3.5 years of tuition, would you stay here for a couple months and have that baby? And she agreed to do it. And they not only paid for 3.5 years of college, they paid for 7.5 years of college. My mom graduated with a master's.
Wow.
Wow.
These were strangers. So
Wow.
I tell people, when people say you're pro-life or pro-choice, I respect the whole it's my body. I don't want to get involved in it, right? But I'll tell you, if it wasn't for strangers intervening in this situation and making this offer, I wouldn't be here to talk to you guys. I wouldn't have 2 sons. I wouldn't have a legacy in a family just because she was going to lose her tuition or her scholarship if somebody wouldn't have stepped in and done this, So
And
when I
but
look
it's
at that
amazing.
divine intervention moment,
Yeah.
that 2
Absolutely.
strangers show up and say, "Here's the reason you're going to do this. We'll make the reason go away."
Wow.
And
Jeff,
so
that's a hell of a story, man. I can say personally, I'm glad you're here to just tell the story.
Absolutely. Oh,
That is amazing.
Thank you for
But
sharing.
yeah, like I say, I still got a brother and a sister that I've never met. I'd love to meet. They're in their 30s now. I you know what? It's crazy. I can find them on Facebook. I can look at their pictures. I can see their kids.
Well, think of it
And
this way, Jeff.
I'm looking at this thinking that guy's my brother.
As twisted as your fate has been, full circle, seeing the principal again, there's still a chance. There's still time. You never know what the future holds.
So after the principal told me the story about how she had lost her scholarship and how these people had stepped in, he said, I learned all this because I was asking around to some friends of mine that are on boards and professors at the college, even still today. And he said, I asked them about that, and they did some research, got back to me and said she went to live at a home for unwed mothers. And she told the college her story when she came back. Because they were like, well, you lost your scholarship. She says, yeah, I've got a check to pay for the rest of my college. And they're like, what? And so she had told several people her story while she was there. And that's how this principal had learned about it. So when he shared it with me, he said, I want you to understand something. You might have reasons for not agreeing to the decisions she made, and you may even have resentment towards her. But if you can't find any other reason to love her, just love her for the fact that she didn't kill you. And he says that should be enough. And I was like, it is. After talking about it, I thought, I don't need to go meet my brother and sister. I'm just glad I'm here. So
absolutely.
Wow. Wow.
That's an incredible story. I'm trying to lean back because I'm like welling up,
I know, me too.
Looking back into the dark.
I'm liking the decision. I'm in the dark and I'm over here wiping my eyes.
There's only 2 things I ever talk about that I kind of tear up about is when I try to share that story with somebody. And the thing is I probably spoke at probably 50 different adoption events as the keynote speaker, sharing that story with a crowd. And at the end, of course, they all pull out their checkbooks and donate to whatever adoption agency is doing this fundraiser, because it's inspiring. I get it. But even like the 50th time I told somebody, I still start tearing up when I'm talking about you know, this principal telling me you were 2 days away from dying, you know, out of a matter of convenience.
Wow.
It
But
wasn't like she was raped or anything. It was she was going to lose a scholarship, and she wasn't going to get to go to college if she didn't have an abortion. You know, even if she didn't even want to do that, but she felt like she had to. You know, and so when we, you know, that's kind of taught me another thing is when in life when you see somebody dealing with the situation, it's so easy to say, yeah, well, you shouldn't. You know, why do you have 4 kids? You shouldn't have had. You know, you're 25 years old. You got 4 kids, 3 different dads. You know, and we look at those situations and try to put that shame over it. And it's like, you know what? You don't know what those kids are going to grow up to be,
Yeah.
what they're going to
Oh, I know.
discover, and what they're going to bring to the table for all of us. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't know that.
I mean, I could speak for that. I was 16 when I had my first daughter. She's 30 now. You know, I've had 4 girls, and it's the best thing I ever did in my life is raising those
The
girls.
hardest thing for me when I do speak at an event and share this, there's always people afterwards that come up to me, and I've had it more than I bet over 10 times where I'll have a woman stand in front of me in tears crying because she had an abortion. And
Oh,
she'll say, you know, I'm just sitting here thinking this could have been my kid here talking to me tonight.
Yep.
And, you know, I'm just like, you know, what do you say to that? You know what I mean? I mean, you just give them a hug and say, you know, I come here to share my story with people to inspire them to find value in adoption. But really, I'm the one who gets the gift because every time after I do it, I have people come up to me and share their stories with me. And I got to pass this. I remember one time a kid came up to me and he was like in his 20s, young guy, and said, I was adopted too, you know, and you could tell he wasn't dressed real nice and he was kind of struggling in life, you know, and had a kind of a speech impediment, like he was nervous all the time. And I just listening to him and I said, tell me your story. And he goes, what? And I said, you just told me you're adopted. Tell me your story. And we're just standing there in the hallway. And he said, well, my mom abandoned me in an apartment. And the neighbors found me and they put me in foster care. And that was the first of 7 different foster care homes I was in. I was abused in a couple of them. I ran away from some of them. And finally, when I turned 18, I got out on my own and I've been bouncing around from job to job, but I finally got a job I started to like. And I'm just trying to make it work. He said, I don't really have any family. And I'm just sitting here thinking, this is the fucking worst story I've ever heard in my life, right? And I'm looking at this kid and what can I tell him, right? What can I offer him? I told him the same thing the principal told me. I said, you've got a lot to be thankful for. And he says, I do. And I says, dude, you're here right now sharing your story with me. I mean,
Yep.
you're here right now sharing your story with me. How fucking cool is it? And it's so simple, but it's like huge, right?
yeah.
And I think it kind of gave him a little bit different perspective. You're fucking right. I'm here. I'm not invisible. I'm not somebody that, you know, that didn't matter. But, you know, you meet all kinds of people when you start talking at adoption events, sharing this kind of story. I mean, you hear it all these different stories. And they're not great made for TV movies.
Oh
Some are
no.
just fucking ugly and they're full of pain, you know? But the same answers I have is for everyone. But you know what? You're
Here
fucking
you
here
are.
right now, man.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
wow.
Well, that was an amazing story. You know,
Yeah.
it just, I'm blown away by it. But
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I hope
Yeah.
everybody in chat appreciated that. And you know,
I didn't come
that
on with any intention to share it, but
no,
when we
man,
started kind of talking about parents and
that's a
numbers and
story
stuff,
that needs to be heard.
yes. And those are the best stories where you just don't plan on telling it, you know?
yeah,
It's because, you know, it's from the heart. It's sincere. Yeah, that was
yeah.
awesome. I'm glad to be a part of that. Just a little
Yeah,
teeny
yeah.
part of it, you know?
I'm touched. Fucking emotional night.
Couple days for me anyways.
Oh no, I feel you.
Oof. Still a couple days ahead of me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You got to go up north. You're going hopefully Saturday.
Yeah, we're trying to plan on leaving Saturday evening. Just drive through the night. It takes about 12 hours to get to my sister's. Stay there for the night.
What's really crazy is that everybody is inspiring to someone. The problem is we don't really get to know who those people are or get to know what it is they find inspiring about us, right? I mean, like for Stevie, I mean, she goes through a tragedy like this, and then you know how many people in that live chat right now are inspired by her? And you know, she sees them say that, right? But a lot of these people are people you never stood in front of face to face and even had a conversation with.
And yet consider them family. How crazy is that? How bizarre is that? You know, that everybody in that chat, you know, it's family. And what did I say, Russell? I said, I'm 2 hours of your show tonight. I needed it because I needed something to distract me. Just a couple hours to forget about everything that's happened the last couple days.
You're so early in this journey of this new page in your life, and you don't.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying this because this, you know, like this story that I shared with you, this started 20-some years ago. This is just every day that I get to share that with somebody, it just unfolds like another story I hear back, or I find out how it inspired somebody. And I'm just telling you, you can't even wrap your brain around like the next 30, 40 years, the people that are going to look at what you did, what happened to you, and how you dealt with it, and how you have a sense of humor, and how you find joy all around you, and how you bring joy to other people. They're just going to be like, this is so fucking inspiring, right? And you might not feel that most of the time, you know, because they don't say it, you know, but they feel it, you know. And everybody inspires somebody by something they do in their life, and they just don't get that feedback, you know. If everybody knew about the people they've inspired in their life, low self-esteem wouldn't even be a fucking real thing anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that. It is. God, you got me choked up. Thanks. Excuse me. No, it is early in my journey, and I know I got a long story ahead of me. That's what I look forward to, is knowing that this is a new life for me. You know, whatever it may look like, I'm eager for it because I feel good. I feel great, and that's a blessing. You know, I sit there and listen to the doctors tell me 1 week after I'm discharged from the rehab that I'm medically cleared. I don't have to see another doctor again. You know, they're just, and looking at them and their reaction with the just unbelief that I'm already healed completely. You know, I thank God. I thank God every day. You know, I'm not a religious person, but I you know, I
that's
believe.
what I was gonna say is your story is really a testimony because of how you've dealt with it. It's a testimony, and I don't use that word in a religious sense. I use that word that tomorrow there's going to be somebody sitting on a hospital bed who just lost their leg that day.
And you know, I'd like to be there at some point to be able to talk
where
to them.
they're at. You know how they feel.
Yeah.
Most,
oh, yeah.
And if you think about all the people that came in your room that tried to inspire you, and you felt, yeah, but they don't really get it, right? They don't feel it. Can you imagine if you would have had somebody roll in a wheelchair that said, I was where you were 10 years ago, and you know what I've done since then? And they told you all these freaking awesome stories. I mean, think about how life-changing that could have been for you at that moment, rather than trying to get through it without anybody really connecting to what you're struggling with.
My first day in the rehab facility, I went to go make a cup of coffee, and I think I've told this before, but as I'm sitting there making a cup of coffee out in the main area of, you know, the recreation area, I'm just down from the elevator. I see a guy step off the elevator who basically he's, you know, first thing that caught my attention is I saw his prosthetic, and I'd like to think I'm not that type of person that would stare, but under my circumstance, I was intrigued. I was so intrigued because I noticed right away the flexibility, and I was like, ooh, you know. And he walks over to the desk, like the information desk, and he's talking to my occupational therapist. And all of a sudden, they both turn and look at me, and I was like, hi, you know, and the guy comes over and I didn't know at the time, but he was actually there looking to come and talk to me and talk to me about, you know, the prosthetic process. And he had gotten in an accident 10 years ago, lost one of his legs. And, you know, he was just there to tell his story. And we spent the next 2 hours sitting on the couch over in the little, you know, common area. And he's taken apart his prosthetic and showing me bit by bit, piece by piece, how it works. You know, I mean, we just got so involved in the conversation. And he's a friend today. He texts me at least once a week, checking in on me. You know, said that once they do come, if I want him there, he'll be there to help me learn how to balance on it. I didn't know at the time, he actually worked for the prosthetic company as a rep.
Oh, wow.
But he took it upon himself to, whenever he had free time, to meet patients like me that just are coming out of the surgery, and this is new to them. And like you said, this could absolutely, I mean, it should be devastating to me and anybody to go through this. It's devastating. Instantly, your life has changed, whether it's, you know, the pain of coming out of the surgery or just knowing that you have to learn everything all over again. I still got to learn how to drive again. You know, I've been driving since I was 16. Yeah. I have to learn how to drive again. It's things like that we take for granted in our everyday life. And then in an instant, it's gone, you know.
Just be glad that we have evolved past like Fred Flintstone cars where you need to use your feet.
I know. That was good. I'd be screwed for sure.
Looks like you were dragging your feet. Pick them up, damn
it. But no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited because, you know, I have such good people that have surrounded me in this journey of mine, because it is a journey, and I've got a long road ahead of me. Still, you know, I'm at the point where I'm able to take a pause, and I know I complain that I'm frustrated, that I'm waiting on my prosthetics and it's drawn out. But then I stop and think maybe I needed this time to kind of mentally, in a sense, prepare myself. That's going to be the next journey there. It's, you know, I've heard many people talk about how painful it can be, and, you know, you're learning how to balance. You're literally learning how to walk again. So it's you know, everything's been good, and it's been, I can't say it's been easy by no means.
And
but
you know,
each step lets me look forward to the next. You know, I mean, that's the way I see it. I'm eager.
You know, and you're always going to be entitled to have those days where you like putting a serious account and being realistic about
and I've had those
you have to try to overcome. You're entitled to those, and you'll still have them 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
But what you're not entitled to is to hold it in and not use that experience to inspire other people. And then as long as you keep doing that, here's the thing. You can spend 5 days all week long feeling down about something. But when you have an opportunity on Saturday to put yourself in front of somebody and share your experience, and you see how it lights them up and gives them hope and inspires them, those 5 days just disappear. I mean, they aren't even a burden to carry around anymore.
Yeah, you know, I had a conversation with my older sister, who is, you know, she's handling all the you know, preparation for my mother's funeral. And I just told her yesterday, I said, you know, it's okay. If anything I learned, it's okay to cry. You can't be strong all the time. You just can't. You can't keep a mental state, a good frame of mind. You got to let it out. And I've had my moments, trust me. I come across as being strong and funny and all, but
this is going to be an episode that's going to go down in your history, because it's the one that Mose came on and sang, and then everybody fucking cried for an hour. See, I remember when I saw episode number whatever, Mose sang and everybody fucking cried.
Yeah. No, if anything I learned in this whole process is that I have a lot to look forward to, and I'm anxious for it. I'm excited for it. I am.
And we all have a lot to look forward to as we watch you go, you know,
Absolutely.
Just keep winning and winning and winning every day.
Live vicariously through you.
Yeah.
However, I'll be there for part of the journey.
Yeah, you'll be the one throwing the stick in my prosthetics and watch me tumble. No, I'm just kidding. Get up, hurry up, get up.
I know a
It's
veteran friend of mine that lost one of his legs in an IED, and his prosthetic is like billet machine with like the holes drilled down it. He had this thing custom made, and it
yeah.
looks like something that OC Choppers fucking built. I mean,
That's
it
what I
is
got coming to me.
fucking
That's
bad
exactly what I
looking.
got coming to
It
me.
is not
Well,
what you imagine as a prosthetic. This thing is like flat, and it comes
Yep.
down, and then there's a little bit of an angle to it, and it's
Yep.
got like the top edge of it looks like the Picatinny rail on an AR-15. Like he could mount a scope on the fucking thing if he wanted to. And then
Yeah.
it's got like holes
No.
that start big right under the knee and then get
Yep.
smaller and smaller and smaller as they go down it. This thing is so badass. He says, you know what? This fucking thing starts so many conversations. I can be sitting in a fucking pharmacy waiting for a prescription and somebody will come up and say, dude, your fucking leg is awesome. And I
Well,
get to share my story with him.
that's the guy that came
And
off
I
the
was just like,
elevator.
man, that's
That's what
fucking
caught my
cool.
attention. When I saw the guy off the elevator, that's exactly what caught my attention. And here, 2 months later, that's exactly what's on order for me. I have to wear this pair that I'm getting for a year. I said it before. I think it's more insurance than anything, but to get used to acclimated to them, I have to wear those for a year. And they're hydraulic with bionics to it. But at some point after the 12 months, I should be eligible to have a surgical procedure where I'll be implanted a microchip that will connect my brain waves to my prosthetics.
Well,
talk about bionics.
I haven't been through it, so I can't speak, intelligently to those steps. But I also believe that when somebody does have an amputation, there's always that first year there's a risk that site,
Right.
how it heals. If it doesn't heal right, they might have to amputate a little bit more, and then that has to heal. So the insurance company isn't going to spend $100,000 for a freaking custom prosthetic that 2 weeks from now might be garbage because your leg's now 2 inches shorter.
And see, and that's where I forget. You're right. You're absolutely right. And that's where I forget because I didn't lose my legs in just one surgery. It was 2. They went back in, and you're absolutely right. They have to make sure, like in my case, that there's no chance in hell that there's any type of infection left. That's the reason why I had this. So
and
that
the way those nerve endings will, they'll die to where it's numb, but they don't want it to be. If you had pain there, well, now they got to do another surgery. Now you won't be able to wear that prosthetic.
But in a normal situation, but in mine, and Mogs knows this, I've been working on, I saw a video on TikTok of all places of a 5-time gold medalist, Paralympic. She's a swimmer, 25 years old, but what caught my attention, she was dancing around on the floor in her bedroom to one of those dance challenges on TikTok on her stumps. And she had the same length that I have. And I'm like, blown away. I said, I didn't know I could do that, Well,
I've been telling you, like I've been.
No, this was before we talked about it, but I'm saying,
but I'm like, you gotta,
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing.
Able to do that.
I'm doing it. Little by little, I can, like today I did it earlier.
Oh no, don't freeze up.
She froze up.
Yeah, I know. Damn it.
But she didn't fall off. Maybe
there she is. There. Sorry. I don't know what happened. No, from a week ago or so, whenever we first had that conversation, since then I've built up a little bit of endurance already. You
were afraid to attempt to stand on them.
I didn't know I could do that. None of my doctors have ever mentioned it. When I saw it on the video, it tripped me out. It blew me away. I was excited. I was like, I didn't know that was a thing. I just, for some reason, I don't know why it didn't click, but I've been doing it since then. Little by little. It's not about the pain with me. It's just it's like a tenderness. It's almost like you have to build up that endurance. And you're right, Mugs. It's just going to make it easier when I do get the prosthetics.
Because you have to get your balance, and that's what it's about. And then you adjust to the balance of standing on basically stilts.
Yep.
It's but you're just amazing though.
Stop.
And you are. You're an inspiration.
Thank you. To see her get really excited about stuff like this when she's talking, that's what's so cool. Because that a couple months ago she was sitting on the edge of a hospital bed wondering, will I ever really be able to get excited again? Can I get there again in my mind?
I was sitting in the edge of a hospital bed for a minute, they were wondering if I was going to make it through it at all. That's how sick I was.
Yeah.
I was really sick. And I think in that moment, I pretty much become determined that if I get through this, not if, but when I get through this, you know, it's on. You know, I got to do it. I can't see not just sitting still. I can't do that.
And you
then
know,
I can't see you sitting still either.
Killing me now. Look, I said I've never sat on my ass this much in my life, this long.
I know what's amazing is you know, we're involved in this community that
so much support.
Support is amazing.
Oh, I mean, my God.
And I've seen it for years, and you have, and they're like family. I mean,
you know? When I get messages and I'm in the hospital, you guys
are family, by the way.
Do you need snacks? Do you need, you know, is there anything? Please tell me. You know, I mean, it's just it's so heartwarming. I can't even describe it. It's such an amazing feeling to know. Like I said, it's a family. This group is a family. I can't say it any other way. It's so much love, and I appreciate every last one of everybody that's out there in chat, on other channels. I mean, yeah, it's definitely been hard.
Well, I think that if anything after tonight, that people, you should make it. I know that you pop one now and then, but I tell you, there's really a lot of value to be had by everybody in this community when they get to see you pop on, even if it's just for 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm not saying, you know, every show, but gosh, you know, you might be looking at it saying, I don't know if I'm really in the mood to do that tonight, or I'm just hanging out. Yeah, you need to understand that when people can see your face and see how you're doing, that to them, it's their connection to saying, man, I'm really happy that, because anybody can type something out in chat and say, I'm doing good, right? But when you see it, it's like, man, that's what's fucking inspiring, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I get that. And when I was in the rehab and I came on that night, I never told Mogs that I was planning on doing that. I kind of thought that too, because there were so many people that reached out to me, and I just wanted everybody to see that I'm okay. I'm really okay. It's easy to say I'm okay. I'm okay. But I really am. I really am.
It's like, holy shit, Steve backstage. Whoa, I didn't see that coming.
I had told the nurses and the staff that I was going to do that, and honest to God, I don't think I even told you this, Russell. The first 2 minutes I was on, if you look, I'm looking towards the door because I got 3 faces peeking in and waving, you know. You know, when I
look, she's smiling.
This is where it really touched me, and I think I realized how well off I was. You know, I knew I was okay, but it was I made such an impact in there that I've never had this much attention before, and I'm never one for attention. It's a different kind, but as I was leaving, one of the nurses, I see somebody taking off down the hall as my daughter's pushing me in the wheelchair. We're going down the hall, and then all of a sudden, over the whole floor, they announced that, you know, she's checking out, she's graduated, you know, she's leaving. And as I got to the main hallway towards the elevator, all the staff, patients, everybody that I got to know there was lined up, and they had party favors, hand clappers, and my daughter's got it on video. And I mean, I'm sobbing, you know, I mean.
And you wonder why trauma nurses and stuff love their job. You think, man, how can you love a job like that? That's why. For every five patients that it doesn't work out well for, it's that one that is dancing their way out of there. That they say, I would never trade this job.
Yeah, it's you know, I've talked about it before. Whole new perspective and appreciation for anybody in the medical field. I mean, nurses, from, you know, just techs, anybody that does that job. You know, I can't say enough about them. That's really who got me through it, you know. And they're telling me that they're ducking out wanting to talk to me because they're having a rough day. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm having a rough day, so let's talk. You know, and we just hang out. We just sit there for an hour.
Sneak a few beers in here, and we'll
really talk. I know, right?
You order a pizza and get rid of this hospital food.
I know. I was ordering Chinese food, and I made friends with some of the nurses. They'd go all the way on the other side of the hospital to the emergency room to go pick it up because the hospital's on lockdown. So I'm ordering Chinese. I'm getting Walmart deliveries. I'm just shopping away. I mean, I had tested positive for COVID and was in my room for 11 days. I couldn't leave the room.
That
And,
sucked.
and yeah, that was, you would think that the surgery, the pain and all that would be the biggest thing I'd complain about, but no, trying to keep my mental state in that 11 days, it wasn't easy. I was ordering adult coloring books and pencils, and I was like, oh, a puzzle. I'll buy a puzzle. Have an order from Walmart sent to me with snacks and drinks, and here comes the nurse carrying a case of Diet Dews, just because I wanted one, and it was cheaper to buy it that way, because that ordering stuff is not cheap. That's some crazy stuff. But I did whatever I could to keep myself going, and was blessed enough to have people around me.
Here's an example how you can keep being an inspiration. A lot of times we think, well, I've got certain limitations. Some of this is financial, some of it's time, things like that. One time I was at the VA hospital here, and I was visiting a person who I knew. Somebody told me about that. This guy was having heart problems, and he lived in a town like 2 hours away, and they don't have a VA there, so he was at our VA hospital. And we have a pretty big one, and I went and visited the guy. This is when you could go in and visit him. It was prior to COVID. But I was talking to him, and I said, was there anything that you need, right? But I mean, you're here without your family. They come once a week, right? But you're here every day. You don't get to see your wife, your kids, your grandkids. What do you need? And he said, man, I really wish I had some sweatpants. I go, like, just regular sweatpants.
Yeah.
I go, well, what else? And he made a list, and I ran to Target, and I bought like $40-50 for the stuff that he wanted. I brought it back for him, and he told the nurses about it. And the nurses, I asked one of the nurses, I said, who else is here that's not around their family? Because the VA hospital is kind of unique like that. People get stuck in a VA hospital and they aren't near their town, right?
Yep.
And their wife or their husband has a job that they have to go to 5 days a week. So they go all week without seeing anybody. And I said, who else is like this? So the nurse said, well, because of HIPAA stuff, I can't tell you their names or why they're here, but I could write down hospital rooms and
I was
give
just
you
going to say, put numbers down.
And you can just walk in and say, hey, my name's Jeff, and introduce yourself and start talking to them. And I'll give you reign of the floor. I won't kick you off the floor. And you can just, and so the next one I came in, she had like 3 hospital rooms wrote down. I went and visited people. When you say, what can I get for you? They don't really, most of them don't want really a lot of stuff, right? Or maybe they don't feel comfortable asking for it. But what was funny is the local news station came in and did a story about this guy who was visiting veterans, and it was right before Veterans Day. And a friend of mine saw this, and he's actually a business partner of mine. He's pretty wealthy, and he does a lot of flying. And he calls me the day after he learned about what I was doing with this, just a couple people, and he says, listen, I've got so many fucking airline miles built up, I can cash them in for Target cards or Amazon Prime cards. I said, how many cards you talking here? He says, let's call and find out. And he calls them, and I'm on the line with him. He had like $5,500 worth of fucking cards he could redeem. Wow. So he said, I want $100 cards, half of them in Prime, Amazon Prime cards, and half of them in Target cards. And then he had them shipped to my house. They were there in 2 days. And he said, I want you to take all of them and just keep visiting these people at this hospital and just say, hey, what do you need? And and you give them the card and say, if you don't have family that can go there and get this stuff for you, I'll get it for you. Just make the list. And then I'd take the card and I'd go get it and bring it back that day. And I did that for like a week. And there was like, there was 54, 55 people in the hospital that were blessed by him, but when I say, God, Kevin, you don't know how many people you blessed. He said, it wasn't me. He said, you're the one who did it. And I'm thinking, well, I'm glad I did it because it was a cool thing to be involved in. I heard so many people's stories. You know, these guys that were in Vietnam. You know what they wanted more than something than like socks and shit. What they wanted more than that was just somebody to talk to.
Yep.
You'd sit down and you'd say, "Tell me about what you did when you were in the military." Well, this one guy, he worked on these gunboats that they'd run up these rivers in Laos and Vietnam at night. He says, we'd
PT boat.
leave like a half an hour after dark and we patrol up these rivers and you couldn't see who would be shooting at you. You're just a moving target.
Yeah.
But as soon as somebody shot at you, you just lit them up, right? And I said, how many times did you do that? He says, we went out probably 300 nights in the 1 year that I was there. I was like, 300 fucking nights, and you lived through all of them. Because almost every night people were shooting at him. I'm just like, this is fucking amazing. This hearing this story. But the fact that for an hour or two he got to tell it to somebody, that was priceless for him. He didn't give a shit about a gift card. He just wanted somebody to talk to, right?
Yep.
And
Well, it's like,
when I look at you and think how inspiring you could be to somebody, it doesn't take money to do that stuff.
No, not at all. Not at all. It was a simple gesture of the day after, on the 12th day when I was allowed out of the room finally. My physical therapist, every day I had an itinerary, scheduled minute to minute from 8. Actually, sometimes it started at 7 in the morning. Wouldn't end until 6 would be the last schedule, whether it's occupational therapy, physical therapy. Oh, they had recreational therapists, everything was scheduled out, meals, all that. It was, it felt militant almost, but it was for a damn good reason. But the minute I was able to leave the room, my physical therapist was scheduled first thing in the morning. I tend to think he might have did that as a young kid. I think he did that on purpose. He scheduled first thing. As soon as I got up that morning, he's like, "You ready to go?" I'm like, "Sure, let's go." I don't know where he's taking me. We ended up going, he took me outside. So that was one of my biggest complaints is I just wanted fresh air. I was trapped in that room for 11 days. I wanted to be outside. He said, not only did he take me outside, but next thing you know, he's wheeled me 3 blocks away to the Walgreens. We're walking around shopping and talking about what things we like. And yeah, it's little gestures though like that just people don't you don't realize how big of an impact it makes,
But then there's a whole nother factor that it would be hard for you to ever say if somebody didn't tell you that they see it. And that's that this isn't just a life experience that you can use to benefit others by sharing this, testimony with people where you've been and what you've been through and how you've been overcoming it. And you instill hope in people. But this set of circumstances happened not just to you randomly. It happened to you, and on top of it, you're nice looking. You've got a magnetic personality. You've got charisma. You've got the ability to sit down and you've got the personality where you can share it with people. You're outgoing. Imagine if all this would have happened to somebody who doesn't have those gifts. They can't even talk to people because they just don't feel comfortable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what a waste that would have been. That would have been a waste if they couldn't do it.
I said that, I can't imagine people that are shy or maybe so going through it that they just aren't comfortable telling their story or talking about it. Before I left, I was actually invited to come back and join their support group.
That's gonna be.
I would love to.
Because at some point you're gonna be running that support group.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, once you understand how it works and the communication and how you get some experience with it, probably within a year you'll be the one running the support group.
I mean, I can say I've been a tough girl all my life. A lot of that I had to be, but what if somebody's not so tough? What if somebody's not so outspoken? It's just.
And what if somebody's that and they don't have somebody like you to come in and talk?
Right.
Where do they go from there?
Yeah. That's the people that I would love to talk to.
It's not easy,
No, God, no.
You have that. What do you call it? Chutzpah. You have that spark.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go a
Well,
little dark
I
here
think,
because y'all going to see me blushing.
well, but that's
Thank
why I'm
you.
glad the show took a weird turn tonight, because I think
Yeah,
that
yeah. This is great.
you
Yeah.
need to feel that. You need to. It's one thing to read that people care about you and that they're hoping that things are going well, but you need to feel it. I mean, you need to.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
community, we have. This is a good example of that. This community actually, through this technology, we have the ability to share our stories and inspire each other. And there's people in chat right now that probably never thought about coming on here, but you know what? They've got a life experience that could be inspiring or uplifting others. Next on Tuesday night, you should pop on
And
right.
that,
share it,
and that's, I started this for the people in chat, and for the people watching, just to come on and it doesn't have to be a Bigfoot or, just share. If you got a story to tell it. If it's worth being, I promote it so much about, if you have a story to tell it, and tell it multiple times.
Yep.
Come to this channel, go to that channel, tell a story. I mean, stories should be told. And
Bigfoot is just a commonality that we have. It's something that we all
Yeah.
have. It's shared interest. That's what brings us all to one spot. That doesn't mean that everybody here doesn't individually have something that other people would really find interesting if they just pop on and share it. It doesn't all have to be about Bigfoot. Some of it has to be so that satisfy those urges, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But
No, I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody. I'd like to say that, I could get through this, but no, it's been because of the community and friends and guys like you, especially Mo, Russell, you've been there for me. I can't, this is where I find it hard to find the words, it's just, I can't even express how much it means to me that everybody's been there. And I'd like to be there for somebody,
you are.
I
feel like I
face,
need to pay.
to
I want to pay that forward, because there's somebody that's gonna have to need it eventually, and I'd like to be that person because I know how it feels. It's, I don't know.
You know how earlier somebody had made a comment that you shared that said, "Can we stop fucking talking about country music, talk about Bigfoot?" If we have shows like this where people are really sharing interesting stories and life experiences that are inspiring, if that happens now and then, eventually somebody will post, can we stop fucking making me cry and talk about Bigfoot instead for a little bit?
Yeah.
I mean, if you start seeing those messages, I think you can see my channel is really doing some
But
good
Megan
for
was
people.
just kidding, with the whole.
I know. I am too when I
And,
say it, but
well, guys, I gotta call it a night because
I was just gonna say we're at 2.5 hours.
Oh wow.
Guys, Stevie and Jeff, I cannot thank you guys enough. Jeff, that was an amazing story. That was really an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes.
And
definitely.
Stevie, you just keep being an inspiration. You got people that love you, that will help you.
Yes.
We're here for you.
Thank you. Thank everybody in chat. I haven't been able to read chat. It's killing me. But y'all have a good night. Thank you so much. Like I said earlier, I needed this. I had to get out of my head for a couple hours.
I know.
Yeah. That's what you do for people. Say, y'all been talking about me, Russell. That's what you do for everybody. That's why everybody comes here.
But it is as much as you feel that you needed it. Everybody, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but there's a lot of people in chat who needed to see you be you tonight and be able to see that. You know what I mean? They needed that as much as you needed to feel that.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to say good night.
Stevie, good night. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you later.
Thank you. Wow. She is an inspiration.
She's so inspiring, dude. I mean,
I didn't do it. Wait a minute. I hit the wrong button.
I think she gets it. I think she knows how inspiring she is, but I think she's always going to have days where it's hard to focus on that. That it's hard to recognize that. But
and I've been telling her,
God.
she knows she's got a lot of work ahead. She's just beginning,
yeah.
But she is on the right path, and she's got the right attitude, and so it just makes everything in her future is going to be that much easier to handle because of her attitude. It's still going to be a lot of work, but Stevie, she's kick ass and take names.
Well, it was a pleasure joining you tonight. It was fun.
No, dude, thank you so much, and I'm sure everybody in chat, I hope they appreciated your story. That was out of left field. Never expected that, and that was amazing.
I hope they appreciated you singing some more Lightfoot.
That was terrible. We'll do it again.
Hey, I would listen. If it wasn't that great, I'd just tell you.
Yeah, you suck, dude.
I would. I mean, I might wait till we're backstage to say it, but I'm just telling you right now in front of everybody, you did really well. Really well.
Thank you.
I thought it was pretty cool.
All right, then. I was just a nervous wreck. I can go up and sing at karaoke, no problem. Do it here.
That's different. When you're singing to a camera and there's nobody there, it's like, it's not the same as going to the bar.
It's weird. It is weird. It's first time.
Different environment.
But yeah, Jeff, thank you again.
Yeah. We will talk to you later.
All right, brother. Have a great night.
Yeah. We'll see.
Good night. Wow. That was an emotional show. And I hope everybody, walks away a little bit better tonight, and it's just, I'm just blown away at people's resilience and people's strengths. And, we're a fascinating species. But yeah, just keep up the great work, guys. Stevie, we love you. Jeff, thanks. That was awesome. Pearls, thanks for stopping in earlier. I'm just, thank you everybody tonight for being here. If you guys enjoyed the show, please, hit the like button. If you're new, subscribe, share it. This show should be shared. Not because it's mine. I had nothing to do with it. It's those two. Those stories need to be told and heard. So share. If you guys are so inclined and you want to donate to this channel, the link is in the banner on my page in the lower right hand corner. And I got to get caught up on all my channels. I got to fill in a bunch of stuff, but I'll try to put the link in the PayPal link in the description. And just thank you guys. You guys make this show. It's it's amazing. And thank you again. All right. You guys have a good weekend. I'll see you, I'm sure, this weekend somewhere in some chat. Because that's what we do. All right, guys. Have an amazing night. And thank you again. Thank you. You guys just rock. All right, guys. Peace and God bless.